for me, this question is like immediately recognizable about what I'm going to do. I see two triangles. Pretty much every time we see two triangles on the SAT, we're either doing trigonometry or just a more basic similar triangles ratio kind of thing. And so we're going to do that here. There's no trigonometry because there's no angles. But we should be very, very cautious and make sure that we show our work and put what we're told in the right places on the picture. So a summer camp counselor wants to find a length x in feet across a lake as represented in the sketch above. Okay, so it's there. The lengths represented by AB, EB, BD, and CD on the sketch were determined to be 1,800 feet, 1,400 feet, 700 feet, and 800 feet, respectively. So that respectively word just means go in order, right? So AB is first. That's going to be the 1,800 feet. So AB is 1,800. Then it's EB, and that's 1,400. So 1,400. BD is 700, so that's here. And last but not least, CD is 800. Okay. So the reason this is so important is the SAT is actually doing something here that they don't normally do. They're giving us an extra piece of information. They're hoping that we set this proportion up incorrectly. So what we want to do is notice the two triangles and make sure that we're matching up corresponding sides. And so even though they're the same, they're different sizes, these triangles are similar. They're proportional. So it's very clear, based on the picture, that the x is going to match up with the 800 because they're kind of both the, I don't know, straight up and down side, the one that's kind of separated from B the most. Maybe that's the best way to put it. So we need another ratio that compares the small triangle to the big triangle, or vice versa, sorry, the big triangle to the small triangle. Big over small. So obviously we're going to need that 700. That's the only other part of this triangle that we have. They do tell us that angle AEB and angle CDB have the same measure, so that's the two that they've kind of marked here. But the way that I think of it is actually that I want the side that is opposite the same angle that the 700 is opposite. So let me see if I can explain that better. Even though the angle D is marked, it's angle C that I care about. And I know that C is also the same as A because of the way that these triangles are set up. Now, you can just make that assumption without doing a whole elaborate proof. I think that that is fine. The real reason is that if E and D are the same and the two B's are the same because of vertical angles, and then it only leaves these other two to be the same, you know, for the kind of the same reason, just like it's all that's left. So I'm noticing that 700 is opposite angle C. So I want in the other triangle the side that's opposite that same angle. So angle A, which is equivalent to C, is opposite from the 1400. So that's the one that matters to me. And now without a calculator, we might be tempted to cross multiply here and deal with the big numbers, but we can avoid that. There's lots of ways to avoid it. The best is to just recognize the proportion, right? 1400 divided by 700 is 2, or 2 over 1. So that's the proportion, is that the top number is double the bottom. So what's double 800? 1600. And that's the answer. So this feels a lot more complicated than it actually is, and I think I went even deeper into the explanation than I needed to. If I were doing this question, there's a lot of assumptions that I would have just kind of made about these angles as I went through, just knowing that they're not really testing like tricks with similar triangles. There's two triangles, they've got to be in proportion, it's just like the way of it. So in school, you might have done a lot of proofs to prove the triangles are the same. We could do that here, but we could also just go right to the ratio and do it that way. So the key is knowing that the 1400 is the one that matters, not this 1800. It's a random piece of information meant to trick us, and we picked the wrong one, we would have had the wrong proportion. So just be careful. They don't always do that, but they did it here.